Annyeonghaseyo, this is meowmurai. Let's continue our game of 9 R.I.P. Running on Nintendo Switch 2. Then, filled with determination, I helped pull him up from the ground. Nothing happened. See? I'm totally fine.
本当にそうなんですか。あなたのことだから無理をしているんじゃ。
I told you already. I want you to trust me. I trust you, Hibiki. That's why it hurts when you lie to me.
それは僕も今ので分かりました。けどこれ以上巻き込むわけにはいかないんです。その様子だと分かったんじゃないですか。僕はまだ成仏するわけには。
I'm just worried. What happens after I go back? I knew that Saya was still there, or still here. Kudaha was here too. I cared about him. I wish he understood my feelings. I want Hibiki to know just how much I care about him. So, seeing him there, looking lost and confused, I took a step towards him. Then, I reached out and softly whispered in his ear, I trust you, so I'll tell you. I'll tell him my name. My name is Misa Isshiki. Kudaha once told me that my name is even more important than my life. He told me not to share my name with anyone until I was able to leave this place. But I want you to know. I want to share it with my precious one. As my face separated from his, he had a look on his face like he didn't understand what had just happened. Hibiki, I want you to trust me more. I want you to rely on me. As he muttered softly, his eyes filled with tears that looked ready to spill over at any moment.
ごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。嘘をついていて。ごめんなさい。
Hibiki. I reached out to touch his cheek and caught a single tear with my finger, wiping the tears of the one I loved. Doing something so simple for him brought me so much joy. Finally, I can touch Hibiki without any worry. At that moment, my heart filled with joy.
好きです。本当に心から好きです。
It had been so long since I had heard my name. Something about it felt fresh and new. And I loved the fact that he whispered so nobody else would hear. That's right. Whenever a friend or family member called me by my name, I didn't have the same feeling. Well, it's Hibiki after all. And because it was him, the pounding feeling in my heart filled me with pure joy. Me too. I love you too, Hibiki. His eyes filled with tears. He was very compassionate, but a little awkward when it came to expressing himself. But there was also courage there, and someone who put my happiness above all else. And that's why I fell in love with him.
同じ気持ちでいてくれたなんて。
Hibiki, are you all right? Answer me. Hibiki. Hibiki. Just as I felt him leaning over slightly, he collapsed on the spot. Up we go. After Hibiki lost consciousness, I dragged him to a nearby classroom. What would I do if I ran into a wraith now? I knew it would be safer to call Kudaha, but if I did so, I'd have to explain to him why Hibiki passed out. And that would be way too embarrassing. Maybe I should try to wake him? Hibiki, are you all right? He's not waking up. Seems like all I can do is wait. I gazed at him, gently reaching out to his cheek. I was filled with a desire to touch him. As my fingertips brushed against his cheek, I felt his unique warmth in that moment.
式神イサを許さない。僕の幸せを奪ったあの男を。
I quickly let go of his hand, and the sounds and images that had flooded to me ceased. Why is he still seeing that? Though I didn't have a headache, the rushing thoughts left me feeling lightheaded. Hibiki.
ここは教室？
That's right. You collapsed, and so I brought you to this nearby classroom.
そうなんですね。恥ずかしいです。
After regaining consciousness, he looked around and pulled himself up. How are you feeling? Are you hurt?
多分心臓は動いてないですけど、ずっとドキドキしてる感じがして、感情が爆発しちゃっただけです。きっと。
Despite having just woken up, his eyes stared at me, aflame with passion. His gaze made my heart race, making me forget what I had just seen.
触ってもいいですか？あなたに僕の思念が流れないよう強く意識するから。だから。
Oh, perhaps he had been holding his thoughts back when we touched in the hallway before. That's why I didn't see anything then. I held up my hand and Hibiki gently took it, smiling brightly back at me.
どうですか？
Nothing. No visions. I guess that's thanks to you, Hibiki.
心残りにあった闇が薄らいでいるのはあなたのおかげですよ。あなたが僕を照らしてくれた。暖かくて優しい幸せな光。僕はそれを守りたくなったんです。あなたのぬくもりがいつまでも失われないように。
Looking a little embarrassed, Hibiki blushed and looked at the ground.
だから本当の心残りは話せなかった。ごめんなさい。
Wanting to protect something. Does that mean you were thinking about me?
はい。無事に写し終え帰ってほしい。そのためならあなたに嫌われることでも躊躇なくやろうと思いました。キスをした時のことがまさにそれで。
So, you're trying to chase me out of the mirror world?
はい。でもダメだったんです。これで良かったんだっていくら思っても、あなたを追い出した後、心にぽっかり穴が開いたようで。幽霊なのにおかしいんです。寒くてたまらなくて。だからあなたとの思い出で心を温めながら鏡の前で待っていたんです。
Waiting by the mirror? For me? I hadn't expected him to say that. No matter how many times I called out to him from in front of the mirror, he didn't respond.
もちろんです。情けないことにあなたを思うのはやめられなくて、鏡の外が写し世に戻った後もあなたはこの学校へ通う。それならずっと鏡の前にいようと座り込んでいたんです。もしかしたら僕を思い出して鏡に笑いかけてくれるかもしれない。そんな期待をして。でもいつまで経っても外は赤いままで、おかしいなって思っていたらあなたが抗議してきて。
I couldn't see him, but he was in the mirror. He was right in front of me the whole time.
すごく胸が痛かったんですが、ここで出て行ったら今までの努力が水の泡だから。まさかまたこうして会えるとは思いませんでした。それもあなたと触れ合えるなんて。
Hibiki, looking a little nervous, extended his other hand. He then touched my cheek with it.
温かい。
His expression was not like the one before, a ghost captivated with the warmth of the living. He was simply staring at the person he loved. He's looking so longingly at me. I felt my heart beat faster and faster. Hibiki. Our hands and fingers further intertwined with one another. Thank you for caring about me. He put a lid on his own feelings for me to push me away and keep me safe. He wanted me to go back to my world and to live a happy life.
あなただって僕のことを考えてキスをしてくれたんでしょ。
That's right. I'm no different than you. It just took me longer to realize how important you are to me. We were very similar indeed, especially our desire to sacrifice ourselves for the sake of the people we love. Perhaps we're some kind of kindred spirits. After all, we both neglected our own desires to protect the people we care about.
僕の場合は守りたいもの全部じゃありませんよ。他でもないあなただから。
But it was the same with your mom too, right? That's why you were always putting on a fake smile for her, right?
確かにそうだった。
When I heard you tell that story, it really reminded me of myself. I've done things to try and keep my mom happy too.
もしかしてそれは進路のことですか？
As if to give him a silent affirmation, I gently squeezed his hand.
前に言っていましたよね。進路のことでとても悩んでいたって。
When I was very little, my mother already decided my path for me. I always just accepted that, but when I started to wonder if it was really the right path for me, my mother would just put up a giant wall between us.
あなたのお母さんはどうしてその道を進むべきだと思っているんですか？
Because I think she wanted me to be like my father.
そんなに立派な方だったんですね。
Yes, he was. He passed away when I was very young, so I didn't really get to know him.
それなら聞いてみたらいいんじゃないですか？お父さんのこと。
Well,
お父さんのような人間になることを望まれているなら、同じ進路を選ぶより前にまず知らないといけないかなって。それにお母さんがどんな思いを抱えているのか知りたくないですか？
come to think of it, she only ever told me that my father was a wonderful doctor. I had heard about his accomplishments in the medical field countless times, but I hardly knew anything about his personality or character. Maybe I should ask her about how she felt about my father. Hibiki's words sunk deep into my heart. They seemed to take all the dark feelings I had been suppressing toward my mother and dissolve them away. Hibiki, you're really amazing. I'd never even thought about that before.
少しでもお役に立てるのなら嬉しいです。まあ、自分のこととなるとなかなかうまくいかないんですけどね。
You mean about crossing over? Hibiki's expression turned slightly bitter, and he removed his finger from my cheek.
未だにある心残りをどうしたらいいのか自分でもわからないんです。闇は確実に薄らいでいるんですけど、それでも未練は残ったままだから。
By resentment, you mean towards Isao Skigami? After gathering up my courage to ask, Hibiki looked toward the ground.
成仏した先に両親が待ってくれている。そんな気がしてすぐにでも会いに行きたい気持ちはあります。でもあいつにされたことをどうしても許せないんです。
What can I say to him if he doesn't even want to think about forgiving him? Hibiki, what do you want to do with Isao Skigami?
どうしたいか なんて前から決まっています。同じ苦痛を味わわせる。それだけです。誰の助けも来ないあの鏡に閉じ込めて、ある日は何箇所も刺してやって、ある日は足を切り落として。
Oh, is that all?
まあ幽霊だから傷はつかないんですけど、苦痛を与えることはできますから。毎日そうして苦痛を与え続ければ悪霊化すると思うんですよ。知っていますか？悪霊はただただ上に苦しむって。上に苦しみ、孤独に苦しみ、さまよいながら憂さを晴らす。誰かを襲うことでね。
I couldn't help but cringe. I felt this conversation was turning dark. You say attack, but in the mirror world, there wouldn't be anyone for them to attack, right?
そこなんですよ。
His smile grew wider and wider.
どうなっちゃうんですかね。上に耐えられず魂が枯れて消えちゃうのかな。
I could feel his hand in mine begin to grow frigid. My head hurt so much, but I couldn't let go. I wouldn't let go. If I do. If Hibiki knew that he was harming me again, he might try to send me home. He would have said he's dangerous. He would have told me I shouldn't be around him anymore. That there's still a part of him that's drawn to the darkness. He said before that the darkness in him was getting weaker, but if given the chance, it still comes back. He was emotionally unstable. Those words came into my mind. This is what Saya was worried about, but I couldn't give up. If I really am his light, then... I tightly squeezed his hand. I would have to warm his heart.
ミサさん。
Warm?
はい。とても。
The expression on Hibiki's face changed, and the chill from his hands gradually subsided. The chill I felt in his hands before was something very different from his normal cold.
もしかしなくても僕また暴走しちゃいました。
Just a bit.
すみません。成仏しないとあなたを返してあげられないのに、どうしたらいいのかわからない。これが正直な気持ちです。
Those are my feelings too. How could I help him cross over? After everything he experienced and spending decades consumed by hate for what Isao Skikami did to him, there was no way I alone could fix things. Yet as these feelings of weakness rose within me, the darkness in him will return and he'll be at risk of becoming a wraith too. For the time being, I needed to talk to Hibiki. If only there was a way to let go of your hatred for Isao Skikami. But I know that's not something you can just do either. Without answering, Hibiki just let his gaze wander around the room.
とりあえず鏡の中の世界に戻りませんか?
Yeah, you're right. If we stay here, there is a risk a wraith could attack me again. Upon opening the classroom door, I found someone unexpected. Yui?
ごめんなさい。クレハさんから響さんがこちらの世界に来たと聞いて、少し前から盗み聞きしていました。
Seeing Hibiki's surprise, she looked directly at him and knelt down quietly.
私が父の代わりになりましょう。恨みを私にぶつけてください。
No, you can't do that, Yui. If you do...
口を出さないでちょうだい。これは 私のすべきことなのだから。
But no, this is all wrong. Besides, there's no way that Hibiki would go along with that. At least that's what I wanted to believe, but when I turned to look at him...
あなたを代わりに。
はい。父があのようなことをしたのはすべて私のせいなのですから、私は自分の意志で行方をくらましたのです。
He's not going to reject her? Seeing Hibiki's face struggle with the choice in front of him, I quickly took his hand. I'm sorry, Yui. We'll have to discuss this another time.
わかりました。
This feels dangerous. I pulled him along as we left. After that, Hibiki gave me permission, and the two of us entered the mirror world together. Whew, that was close. I should probably keep the two of them separated for now. Hibiki, you can't take Yui up on her offer. Seeing Hibiki still in the gaze, I called out to him with a firm tone. Making a child pay for the sins of their parent? That's wrong, okay?
わかっています。わかっているのに。
Finally, Hibiki turned his eyes to look at me. His face was contorted in pain.
あの子は何も悪くないってわかっています。でもあの子が代わりになれば僕の気も晴れて、そうしたら成仏できてあなたも帰れる。
For me? My head, which had been flustered until now, quickly calmed down. It was clear his love for me was immeasurable. I thought I knew that already, but I also think the way he loves me is wrong. It wasn't just that he was putting me first, it was the only thing he was thinking about, which wasn't right either. I'm happy to know you're thinking about me, but you must not hurt her, okay? It's not right to hurt someone innocent to try and protect the person you love. You'd be no different than Misa Isshiki. I immediately held my tongue. I didn't say his full name, but he cast his gaze downward. I couldn't see his expression. However, I felt something dark coming from him.
僕があの男と一緒
No, I didn't mean...
ならどうしろって言うんだ。
He then reached his hand towards me. He gripped me so tightly that I couldn't breathe.
成仏したい。あなたを返してあげたい。俺にはどうしてもこの胸にある恨みを晴らさないといけない。他にどんな方法がある？月神功が出てくるまであと何百年とあるのに。
His eyes were filled with rage, and yet I could see tears welling up within them. It's all right. The darkness hasn't taken him yet. Hibiki. Perhaps seeing the pain in my face, Hibiki quickly let go of me. I began coughing once I was able to breathe again. I'm sorry, I wasn't thinking. I shouldn't have said...
ごめん。僕、あなたになんてことを。
Just calm down, Hibiki. I'm all right.
ミサさん、どうしよう。自分が怖い。誰も傷つけたくないのに。あなたを返す方法が見当たらなくて。前はもっと単純で月神功だけを待っていればよかったのに。今 今はそうも言っていられないし、どうしたらいいのか。もうわからない。
I couldn't help but wrap my arms around him. What could I possibly say to him after that? I'm sorry. He was so confused about what to do, and all I did was blame him for being tempted by Yui's offer. I really am so foolish. Hibiki, I really am sorry. Hibiki trembled in my arms, and I held him tightly, close to me. Until he stopped crying, I resolved to hold him close. I brought Hibiki, who had calmed down a bit, to sit down on the bed. I'm going to talk to Yui. It wasn't right to just leave her like that. Then, just as I was about to leave his side, he grabbed me by the sleeve of my uniform.
お願いです。今はどこにも行かないでください。あなたが離れちゃったら、僕、考えすぎて頭がおかしくなりそうで。
I silently sat down next to Hibiki. I took his hand and squeezed it. He doesn't need to think about anything. Maybe it's just best to let him stay in a daze. In that case, Hibiki, I'm feeling a little tired. Do you mind if I take a rest here? Not waiting for his reply, I laid down. It's a little embarrassing, but if I do this, neither of us will have to think about anything right now. Then I pulled Hibiki's hand, too.
ミサさん、これは。
It makes things feel a little better just to lay like this, right? His cheeks flushed red. I'm sure I'm blushing too.
そういえば、久しぶりに布団に横になりました。幽霊は疲れないし、睡眠を取らないから。
Sleeping next to someone puts your heart at ease. At least that's what my mom told me when I was little. So I wanted to sleep next to you like this, Hibiki.
嬉しいです。心安らぐ相手に僕を選んでくれるなんて。
Who else would I choose? I told you before. I love you, Hibiki.
そうですよね。
I mean, not really. I'm getting pretty tired of Hibiki right now. He's really testing my patience. Hibiki's face turned even redder, causing a smile to spread across my face. Seeing him embarrassed like this made him look even cuter, and my love for him overflowed from deep inside me.
僕だってあなたのことが好きですから。
I know you do. Hibiki's gaze, his words, they all made my chest tighten. And yet, it all feels so comfortable. I don't want to think about anything right now. I just want to stay like this. Is that okay? Hibiki nodded in response.
ありがとうございます。さっき僕はあんな風にあなたを責めたのに、変わらず優しくしてくれて本当に嬉しいです。
That won't change. No matter what happens, Hibiki, I whispered to him that I'd love him no matter what. So don't worry, and trust me.
すごく嬉しい。そんなに嬉しいことを言われたのは久しぶり。いえ、初めてかもしれません。もう心臓は動いていないのに、すごくドキドキするんです。まるで生きているみたい。あなたといると自分が幽霊だって忘れちゃう。それくらいあなたに心が揺れる。
I smiled gently at Hibiki's words, but gradually found myself growing sleepy. Whether it was because I was lying down or because I felt so safe next to him. I think it's the same for both of us.
ミサさん、あなたは眠っていいですから。ゆっくり休んでください。
As I was wrapped in his soothing voice, I drifted off to sleep. When I awoke, I was all alone. Hibiki? When I called out to him, I heard footsteps, and soon his face peeped through the door.
大看守様が来ていて。
Oh, is that right? I quickly got up and fixed my hair and uniform before saying hello.
大丈夫なようですね。
Yes, no major changes to report. Saya's expression went from relieved to cheerful. It seems as though he really does care about me. I think it's because I've been trying to go to sleep before the drowsiness and headaches set in.
今後もそうしてください。ああ、そういえば響からすべて聞きましたよ。彼の内情はすべて知るところになったと。
I straightened my posture and approached Saya. Do you have any ideas? I worry if Hibiki stays like this.
響が抱えている心残りを解消できるかどうかは本人次第。私は鏡の世界を作るのみにとどめ、あくまで彼の行く末を見守るのみ。そう思っていたのですが。
Does that mean things have changed?
響とあなたの関係。おしなべて言えば、愛の力に感化され、思うところがあったのです。
愛の力。そんなめそうもない。
Hibiki, just hang on a minute. So, in other words, Saya, are you offering to help us?
あなたがいると話が早いですね。私もそう暇ではありませんから、簡潔にお伝えしましょう。響、月神勲に面会してみてはいかがですか？
Hmm?
本来、成仏は個人の問題ですから、今まで口は出さず、見守ることに徹していたのですが、私とて彼女には、無事に写し世へ帰ってほしい気持ちもあり、口を出させていただきました。
Thank you, but can Hibiki really meet him so easily?
そんなはずはありません。この特例は、大看守の特権を利用して、さまざまな事項をねじ曲げて無理に無理を通したものです。
I see. Hibiki meeting Isao Skigami. Honestly, I had no idea if it would be something good or bad for him. What does Hibiki think about it? When I looked over at Hibiki, he stood silently, his mouth agape with shock. It's just not possible. This is all so sudden. I'll ask Saya a question. Is it really okay for you to be doing that, Saya?
曲がりなりにも大看守という立場ですからね。地獄の中でも多少の融通は利くのです。まあ今回は多少では済まされないかもしれませんが。
I quickly shot a glance over to Hibiki, who seemed to be still in shock.
私としても今すぐに響が決断できるとは思っていませんから、時間を置いて再びお伺いします。ああ、念のための補足ですが、面会は我々の厳重な管理下で行われます。彼をどうこうできるとは思わないように。
Once I finished speaking, he began to shimmer and fade out of the nurse's office. Hibiki?
すみません。一人でしばらく考えさせてください。
With that, Hibiki sped out of the nurse's office. I want to follow after him, but Hibiki said he wanted to think alone, and I wanted to respect his wishes. I wonder what he's going to decide. Unable to sit in the nurse's office, I decided to head to the library. It wasn't like I could read the books here, but I wonder what Hibiki is doing now. Taking the book he recommended to me, I began flipping through the pages. It's been exactly mirrored. I don't think this will be very easy to read. Since I had nothing to do while I waited for him, I wanted to read more of the book Hibiki liked. I wanted to know everything about him. I can't help but want to learn more. I wanted to know what he was thinking right now. But when I pushed too far before, I ended up hurting him. I said he was like Isao Skikami. Considering what that man had done to Hibiki, that was a terrible thing to say. With everything he's been through, I'm not qualified to judge him. And if I were to get emotional and hurt him with my words...
ここにいたんですね。
Hibiki! When he suddenly appeared, he had an unexpected calm look on his face.
何をしているんですか?
Ah, I thought I tried reading the book you recommended to me. The puzzled look on his face disappeared, and he smiled at my words.
でも、鏡文字だとかなり読みづらいんじゃ。
Yeah, I can't get all the nuance exactly, but I can understand the general feeling of the text. I'm interested in the story, but I also want to learn more about what you like, Hibiki.
とっても嬉しいですけど。細かいところまでしっかり読んでほしいので、それは帰ってからにしてください。
Gently, Hibiki took the book from my hand and placed it back on the shelf. When I go back, wanting to know what he meant by that, I continued to stare at his profile.
この本、早く読んでほしいです。そのためには、あなたを返さないと。
He continued speaking without hesitation.
だから僕、月神功に会ってこようと思います。
Hmm?
これで心が晴れるのか、正直わかりません。でも、考えたんです。これまでのことを思い返しながら、会って、どうなるかはわかりません。でも、刃を突き立てるのではなく、会話をしてみようかなって。勇気を出してみます。あなたに出会って、たくましくなれた気がするから。だから、きっと大丈夫です。
Thank you. I don't know why, but I ended up thanking him. Thank you, Hibiki, for deciding to meet and talk with him. Thank you. My vision blurred slightly, and I realized that tears were filling up in my eyes. I don't know what else I can say to express this feeling to him.
僕のために泣いてくれるなんて、何度体験しても感無量です。
I nodded and took his hand. I couldn't find any words to say to him, and worried that if I spoke, I'd just end up crying. To prepare for what was to come, I went back to the nurse's office to rest again. Saya appeared.
覚悟を決めたのですね。
はい。どうなるかはわかりませんが。
どうなるかわからないものに挑むという覚悟こそ、私があなたに求めていたものです。
Upon hearing Hibiki's intentions, Saya flashed a faint smile. Then,
それでは、早速地獄へ向かいましょう。
Saya placed something that looked like a smartphone into his hands and began typing, pointing into the empty space. Whoa. Suddenly, all the hair on my body stood up straight. Huh? The room is changing. The air in the room grew faint and my heart beat faster. Hibiki seemed to feel the same thing and his body began to tremble.
この空間と地獄を一時的につなげています。響、少々のことは我慢なさい。ああ、あなたは違う場所にいても構いませんよ。
Would it be okay if I went along too? Knowing how filled with anxiety Hibiki must have been, I wanted to stay with him if at all possible.
本来ならば遠慮していただきたいところではあります。地獄はこの曖昧な空間よりも空気が悪く、心身ともに悪影響ですから。 あなたは響の安定剤でもありますし、30分ほどで戻れば大丈夫でしょう。
Thank you very much.
でもあなたはお留守番の方が来てもらえたら嬉しいですけど、やっぱりあなたの体が心配だし。
Trust me, it'll be a lot harder on me if I'm not there with you.
ずるい。そんなこと言われたら置いていけないじゃないですか。
So then, let's go together. But aside from the oppressive nature of the air, there aren't any demons or anything to worry about, right?
いますよ。地獄には気味悪い生物から悪魔まで存在します。
Oh.
しかし今回はそのようなならず者たちがはびこる場所には向かいませんのでご安心ください。
I see.
少しでも人外の者たちに会う可能性があるなら、それこそあなたを同行させませんよ。
Thinking about it, it was just as Saya said. I never thought I'd see hell while I was still alive. Life really could be unpredictable.
本来、うつしおから地獄へ来るには特別な電車を呼ぶ必要があるのですが、ここではそれがなせません。というわけで、緊急措置を取る際に使用するエレベーターを呼びます。
Suddenly, a crack showed up in the nurse's office and we found ourselves in total darkness.
この中に飛び込むのです。さあ、どうぞ。
Warp? Is it safe?
ええ、さっと飛び込めばね。
So it's more like a portal. Elevators don't warp to other floors.
大丈夫です。僕がそばにいますから。ずっと手をつないでましょう。
Right. Thanks, Hibiki. His hand in mine, we gazed into the deep darkness. A warm, unsettling breeze began to blow. I was surrounded by darkness. I felt a cold breeze pass through me. This feeling. The air here was so much more oppressive than anything I'd experienced at the school. My entire body immediately felt strained. Just when I thought I was going to pass out, I felt Hibiki prop me up.
大丈夫ですか？
Thank you. The air here, it's so...
言ったでしょう。地獄の空気のよどみ具合は他の場所の比ではありませんよ。
無理はしないでくださいね。
I'm fine. I just needed a little time to get used to it, that's all. With great difficulty, I stood up on my own, and Saya followed along after us. Looking around, I saw an area filled with tall ceilings, decorated in a European style.
あまり時間がありませんので、この建物の説明は省きます。こちらです。ついてきてください。
We left the room and were ushered into a large hall. There, I saw many people dressed like Saya scurrying around the place, looking very busy.
この人たちは全員ここで働いているんです。
Seeing me looking all around the place, Hibiki called out to me. They're here to judge all the people that committed sins before they died?
そうです。まあ、大看守様もあの人たちも死者なんですけど。
Is that so? I can't imagine working even after death. I couldn't help but wonder what Saya and the others who work here thought about their jobs. Hibiki's hand touched my shoulder. Saya appeared to be talking to another staff member. Then, as though he had prepared for this moment, a man was brought before us, shackles on his hands, feet, and neck. Hibiki, is that him?
僕も顔を見たことはないので、わからなくて。
That's right. Hibiki was kidnapped and locked up without ever seeing the man's face. Perhaps he would remember him by his voice? As these thoughts passed through my mind, the man who was taken by staff came towards us.
君が話したいという少年ですか?
As soon as the man began to speak, I saw Hibiki's whole body stiffen.
彼が月神イサオです。
I could feel Hibiki's presence change in the face of this man, wrapped in heavy chains. Isao Skikami. This diabolical maniac, large and strong enough to kidnap several people. I always imagined him as a terrifying man, and yet the man slumped in front of me was a slender man with a simple kind of elegance about him. He didn't look like the type of person who could be responsible for the death of children. Hibiki! Hibiki put his head in his own hands and began to sob.
申し訳ありませんでした。
Isao Skigami fell to his knees. Well, to be more exact, his knees could not reach the ground. It was because of the massive amount of chains that bound him.
申し訳ありません。本当に申し訳ありません。誤って到底許されるものではないと分かっておりますが、どうかこの老いぼれの謝罪を聞いてください。
There was nothing frightening about him. His words, his voice, if anything, he looked rather pathetic. Hibiki closed his mouth. Without saying a word, he just stared at the man as he crawled on the ground.
後悔しています。尊い命を残虐な手段でいくつも奪ってしまったこと。娘のためとはいえ、気が触れていました。どう言い作ろうとも許されることではありません。私は死刑を望みました。しかし地獄の方々は私の死刑を許しませんでした。
月神功が受けるべき罰は、長きにわたり罪を背負い反省していくこと、そう結論付けたのです。
ここを出た後、私がかつて殺めたこの幽霊に襲われるというのなら、どんな罰も受ける覚悟です。いえ、むしろそうしてください。こんな罪深き人間が安らかに成仏するなんてあってはいけないことですから。
Hibiki merely stood there with his mouth still closed in silence. No, that's not right. He can't just silently listen to this. Instead of showing how he really feels, he's just sitting there listening to this.
申し訳ございません。
そろそろ時間です。響。何か言いたいことはありませんか？
Isao Skigami crawled on the floor. It was as if to say he was ready to accept any punishment. Finally, Hibiki opened his mouth, but his voice sounded dry. Then he closed his mouth again. Hibiki. I was trying to say something, but it was clear the words would not come out. Or he was trying to say something, but it was clear the words would not come out. He was totally lost. I was sure that Hibiki's mind was racing with a wide range of emotions. Even so, it's meaningless unless Hibiki confronts this himself. I turned to face him and gently put his hand in mine. It's all right. His wavering gaze started to settle down as his face regained its composure. His eyes, which had been wavering, gently calmed, and his face regained its composure. Hibiki turned to face Skigami and took a few steps toward him. Then he stared directly down at the man kneeling on the ground before him.
許さないです。僕は絶対にあなたを許さない。僕だけじゃない。被害に遭った人たちみんながあなたを決して許しません。だからそれを背負って反省し続けてください。だからそれを背負って反省し続けてください。苦しみ続けてください。
Hibiki.
あとこれも知っておいてほしい。ゆいさんもあなたの罪を共に背負おうとしていると。
ユイが
時間です。
Upon Saya's signal, 2 people came and took Isao Skigami away. All the tension that had built up within Hibiki seemed to be released all at once. Then for some time he stared off in the direction that Isao Skigami had been taken off to. I leaned silently next to him, and Hibiki opened his mouth slowly.
反省しているからって許されるべきではないって今も思います。だってやったことは変わらないわけだし。でも話を聞いてよかったです。見え方がほんの少しだけ変わったから。
Why did you say that thing about Yui at the end?
それはかわいそうだなって思ったんです。あくまで憶測ですけど、あの親子は生きている頃からすれ違ったままだったんじゃないかな。それを考えると、僕はあんな風に死んだけど恵まれていた。
The expression on his face changed to one that seemed wistful and distant.
終わり方ばかり気にしていたけど、僕の人生は幸せだった。ちっとも不幸なんかじゃない。だから。
He turned to face me. His expression was glowing, radiant even. It was unlike anything I'd ever seen before. His smile, like the clear blue sky after a storm.
すべてを振り返ってみて、もういいかなって。
Hibiki, that's amazing.
それもこれも全部あなたのおかげですよ。
I wonder, honestly, here in hell, I wasn't sure if I could stand it, let alone be of any help to you.
そんな風に思わないでください。あなたがそばにいて、言葉をかけてくれて、心を支えてくれたから。だから、今の僕があるんです。
His words were filled with a newfound confidence and vitality.
僕が成長して、心を入れ替えられたのは、あなたという存在あってこそ。
Oh my god, he just talks so slowly.
僕が成長して、心を入れ替えられたのは、あなたという存在あってこそ。これは絶対なんですから。
Hibiki's words of encouragement gradually made me begin to feel happy too. I'm so glad to hear that, Hibiki. Okay, boy, this is going on longer than I thought it would. Why don't we stop it there? This is meowmurai. You've been watching 9 R.I.P. 9 Rest in Peace, running on Nintendo Switch 2. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching. I will see you at the next stream.